I shall conclude with a message of optimism. We have an agenda of opportunities that will enable us to enter and collaborate in new sectors and consolidate the presence of our companies in the respective markets. And what's most important, we can continue to build this partnership based on privileged relations founded on mutual trust, which will undoubtedly be strengthened by this visit. You can count on us to move forward on this path towards the future. Thank you again, Mr. President, and thank you very much to everyone.
Muchas gracias, Presidente.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, dear President. Now I would like to give the floor to Marta Blanco, President of the Spanish Confederations of Business Organizations. President of International Relations Committee of the COE. Dear President from the Republic of South Africa, Minister of Commerce, Industry and Competition of South Africa, Minister of Foreign Affairs in South Africa, Minister of Industry and Tourism in the Government of Spain, President of the Chamber of the Spain Chamber of Commerce, ambassadors, representatives of businesses, very good morning. It is an honor to be part or take part in this business forum on behalf of the Spanish Confederation of Business Organizations. President, your decision to honor us with your visit to our country and your interest to participate in the framework of this visit on this business meeting highlights how important it is for your government, the business collaboration. I'd like to remember the business meeting that was held in October 2022, where I also had the honor to take part. That was in South Africa. The moment was also complex at the time at international level, with a lot of uncertainty and high inflation. And I remember that in that meeting, both leaders agreed on two issues that are very relevant in my opinion, and I like to remember them today. First of all, the ambition that is necessary to look at our bilateral relations. And I say ambition because we want the relation between the two countries to transcend the trade relationships. But secondly, there was also a clear coincidence, and if I look at the room today, this is evident. It is about the role that the private sector can play in these bilateral relations between our two countries. Sometime later, we have again the possibility to strengthen these principles, and it's also a very complex time where transformations take place at a speed that we had never seen before. And very much because of that situation, this bilateral relation is even more valuable. I agree with all the considerations and comments made by the President of the Spain Chamber of Commerce. And myself, as a Spanish business, I would like to just add that we very positively value this institutional relation between the two countries. It is crucial when it comes to generating partnerships between companies of the two countries, South Africa and Spain. It is important to count on the institutional and financial support also for the businesses as part of this partnership between the two countries. I think it's also very important in the current times to have a clean commercial and business partnership between the European Union and South Africa, the CTIP. This is the first country that this partnership has been signed with, aiming to promote decarbonization, industrialization, and investment on clean technologies. And it aims to diversify the strategic supply chains. In times of big volatility and uncertainty, the strength of our supply chains becomes fundamental. And South Africa can definitely play a key role in this aspect. Secondly, the Global Gateway Initiative has also been mentioned. The fact that Spanish companies can participate in projects that count on the funding of the European authorities and the Spanish authorities can undoubtedly increase the presence of our businesses and their collaboration in the investment plans of the country. Therefore, the opportunities are going to be seen in today's session. There are many. I would like to simply mention one that I think has a lot of potential, and is that project for the transmission and distribution of energy. We wish you a lot of success to you, Mr. President, and your government in the development of this initiative that is going to be so very important. And we hope Spanish companies to be part of the success of this initiative. Here we're going to forge partnerships. We ourselves have a wonderful partnership with BUSA, Business Unit South Africa. We had a very close collaboration with them, particularly when South Africa chaired so successfully the G20. Congratulations for the success of that summit. That was so important. And from this stage, I conclude by reiterating our commitment in the COE to contribute to the strengthening of the business collaboration between our two countries. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Marta. And now we give the floor to Minister Jordi Hereu, Minister for Industry and Tourism of Spain. Please, Minister, you have the floor.
Buenos días.
Good morning, everyone.
Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa, Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Presidente de la Cámara de Comercio de España, estimado José Luis Bonet, representantes de las
representatives of the different institutions, friends, dear ambassadors.
Gentlemen, Mr. President, you must know that Spain has a special appreciation for the South African people. And for us, it's a big honor to receive you today here in this event. I had the honor of attending as Minister of Tourism the preparatory meetings for the G20 summit in South Africa. And I must say that I greatly valued the professionalism, the strong work ethic, and the commitment of South African companies and professionals to the sustainable development of their country. It is an honor for me, on behalf of the government of Spain, to welcome you to this business forum between Spain and South Africa. Conceived as a space for dialogue and as a platform to foster new opportunities for economic cooperation and investment between our two countries. If you don't mind, I will continue in Spanish.
I want to start my intervention by mentioning the international context that we're currently on. It's strongly marked by uncertainty and the reconfiguration of economic balances. It is within this framework that Spain and South Africa, as preferential partners, have consolidated a relationship that is closer and closer, which is based on convergent interests and on a shared vision of growth and opportunities. As benchmark economies in their respective regions, both countries are well positioned to make the most of the current transformations and channel new investments, strengthening an economic relationship with a clear potential for future development. Within this context, the role of South Africa in international and economic forums, and particularly the presidency in the G20 in 2025, reflects its growing relevance and capacity to influence on the global economic agenda. Both countries are capable to actively contribute to the generation of opportunities and the economic dynamism in their environments. This forum presents a specific opportunity to translate this potential into tangible results. promoting new investments, opening opportunities, and moving forward in specific sectors like energy, infrastructures, water resources, agro-industry, and tourism and digitalization. But beyond the figures, meetings like this reflect something that is essential, that is mutual trust between our two countries, the social commitment with progress, and the shared will of our companies to build a future together. South Africa offers a wide market, a sophisticated market that is full of opportunities for our companies. Its sectorial diversity opens up collaboration spaces in very different spheres where Spain can add expertise, technology, and execution and implementation capacity. One of the most dynamic sectors has undoubtedly been that of the renewable energies, which continues generating new opportunities, particularly in the fields of photovoltaic and the storage systems, as well as in the strengthening of electric infrastructures. But South African ambition goes beyond all that. The country is promoting a clear strategy to consolidate itself as an investment destination that is competitive and global, with the big emphasis on industrialization, the development of infrastructures, and the transformation of their energy system. Along these lines, initiatives like the recent investment conference, the sixth, that was held the last March 31st in Johannesburg, reflect that will to attract capital and large-scale projects, aiming to mobilize more than 100 billion euros in the next 5 years. This is a horizon that opens up a clear space for Spanish companies to strengthen their presence and participate actively in this transformation process. The economic and trade relations between Spain and South Africa represent one of the key pillars of our bilateral relation. They are the foundations of solid collaboration supported by very intense and close public-private collaboration and a climate of trust that is based on democratic values. South Africa is also a key partner in sub-Saharan Africa. In 2025, it was consolidated as our first client in the region and one of our key providers, which reflects the intensity and maturity of our exchanges. Our trade relation is mainly characterized by its industrial character, with the big protagonism of the automobile industry, which exemplifies the great deal of collaboration between the two economies. Within this context, the bilateral trade flows reached a volume close to 3 billion euros in the past year, with a notable balance between exports and imports, which confirms a sustained trend of growth and strengthens an economic relationship that is beneficial for both parties. Investment equally constitutes an essential pillar of our economic relation. South Africa is the key destination of the Spanish investment in sub-Saharan Africa, with close to 80 companies present in the companies that have contributed to the creation of nearly 4,000 jobs at local level. This relationship is also bidirectional. South Africa has consolidated as the key investor of the sub-Saharan Africa and Spain, particularly in the real estate sector. Spanish companies have a consolidated presence in South Africa, and they are committed to develop projects in a wide range of sectors: industry, automobile, agro-industry, food, or consumer goods. We're also aware of the important existing potential in order to continue expanding this collaboration in sectors like water infrastructures, energy, or transport, but always with a firm commitment to promote the local industrial capacity and sustainable development of the communities. Within this context, the renewable energy sector has occupies a specific place where Spanish companies have a reference are a reference in the South African market, and they have a great deal of expertise. And that is proven by the funding for a specific project of Spanish companies that are part of the financial initiative that was launched by the Spanish government to support renewable energies and climate action in South Africa. The Spanish government reaffirms its commitment by actively supporting the presence of our companies through instruments like the Fund for the Internationalization of the Business, the CIEM, the coverage of the Spanish Agency of Credit to Export, CESCE, or the coverage of the Spanish Agency of Credit to Export, Business Forum, or the soon opening line between Madrid and Johannesburg for the month of June. This is a connectivity that will be strengthened and that will contribute to strengthening the business links, and it will support the growth of our economic relationships. And in order to conclude, I would like to express my gratitude to the Spanish Chamber of Commerce for welcoming us in their home and for facilitating this space of dialogue between our companies. I would also like to thank the participation of all the authorities, institutional representatives, and companies that are gathering here today. I hope that this forum contributes to continue strengthening the financial links between Spain and South Africa and to identify new collaboration opportunities for the benefit of our economies and also for the benefit of our societies.
We welcome in Spain as the leader of a country that shares strong ties with us and of a people we consider close to ours. And Mr. Tau, many thanks also for coming, and please share some reflection from your journey in public policy and governance that I'm sure we will learn from it. And Mr. Tau, thank you once again for joining us today. We will appreciate if you could share some reflections from your journey in public policy and governance. I have no doubt that we will all learn a great deal from your insights.
Thank you very much to the Minister and Program Director. Let me acknowledge and thank the Government of Spain, the Minister, the Chamber, and indeed the entire business community for your hospitality, partnership, and indeed welcoming us this morning. His Excellency President Ramaphosa, distinguished guests, business leaders, ladies and gentlemen. It is a privilege to join you today at this important Spain-South Africa Business Forum, held on the occasion of the working visit by His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa to the Kingdom of Spain. Let me begin by reflecting on what we hope to achieve together through today's engagement. We see this as an important opportunity to further strengthen and evolve our trade relationship in a way that delivers mutual benefit. Firstly, we are here to change the structure of our trade relationship. Secondly, we must ensure that we are fully leveraging the opportunities presented by the Southern Africa Development Community and EU Economic Partnership Agreement. Thirdly, we would welcome a constructive engagement on how we can ensure the sustainable coexistence of the citrus industry in a manner that does not unintentionally disadvantage emerging farmers. The fourth area where we are keen to work with our Spanish friends is in the area of attracting greater investment into South Africa's productive sectors. We see value in strengthening industrial cooperation, particularly in areas such as Industry 4.0, digitization provides Through the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, we offer access to a rapidly growing market of over 1.2 3 billion people. Distinguished guests, it is my fervent hope that today's engagements lead to concrete outcomes, business-to-business deals, investment commitments, joint ventures, and clear follow-up actions. The real success of this forum will not be measured by today's discussions, but by what is implemented in the months that follow. South Africa comes to Spain not as a country seeking access alone, but as a country offering capability. What we seek is partnership that is practical, mutually beneficial, and forward-looking. Program Director, please allow me to briefly highlight a few areas where we believe there is immediate potential to deepen cooperation between South Africa and Spain. In the automotive and future mobility space, South Africa remains a key production base for vehicles exported to Europe. As the global industry transitions towards electric vehicles, there is a clear opportunity for collaboration in component manufacturing, battery value chains, and new mobility technologies. In the area of energy and green industrialization, South Africa offers significant opportunities and capability, positions us well to become a competitive producer of green fuels and energy-intensive products. We also see strong potential in critical minerals, beneficiation, and industrialization. South Africa is richly endowed in minerals essential for the global energy transition. In agriculture and agro-processing, there is clear room for growth. South Africa's counter-seasonal production offers a natural complement to the European market. With improved market access and the resolution of sanitary and phytosanitary barriers, we can significantly expand exports of citrus, deciduous fruit, wine, and processed food products. Finally, in advanced manufacturing and pharmaceuticals, South Africa has established capabilities that can be further developed through partnerships focused on technology transfer, regulatory cooperation, and market access. Taken together, these sectors reflect a broader ambition to build a partnership that is not only based on trade, but on shared industrial development, innovation, and long-term competitiveness. It is for this reason we must welcome the signing of the MOU between our Industrial Development Corporation and COFIDES. This partnership represents a concrete step forward towards deepening investment cooperation between South Africa and Spain. In conclusion, at this point, I would like to introduce a leader who does not merely speak about economic transformation, but pursues it with relentless, disciplined commitment. Even when the path is difficult, even when the pace feels slow, and even when the weight of expectation is immense. Since assuming the presidency, President Cyril Ramaphosa has anchored South Africa's economic agenda on 3 pillars that speak directly to the purpose of this forum: investment, industrialization, and inclusion. Evidence was seen during his G20 presidency and successive hosting of 6 investment conferences. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my profound honor to welcome to this stage a leader whose presence here today signals more clearly than any document South Africa's seriousness of purpose and its confidence in this partnership, His Excellency, President Ramaphosa.
That's nice. That's very nice. Thank you. Let's be seated, please. Program Director, Chamber, and all business leaders. It is a profound honor to be amongst you and to speak to so many business people who are here. I wish to thank His Majesty, King Felipe IV, but also the government of Spain and the business community for their warm hospitality extended to the South African delegation on this visit. I will be, after this, having lunch with the King, and my delegation had hoped that they would also have lunch with the King, but the King said, only me. And then I asked, will the Queen be there? They said, since you didn't bring your own Queen, she will not be there. So thank you very much for this opportunity. Please forgive me for not speaking in Spanish rather. I'll address you in English. I only speak Spanish on Thursdays. So those who met me yesterday, and I met a number of business people, some of them are here. I haven't seen any one of them. They would have, yes, you were there. You had my Spanish, didn't you? So forgive me for speaking to you in English. Our visit here is a very special visit, and it reflects the strength of our long-standing relationship and partnership between our two countries, but it also reflects our shared commitment to building a modern, dynamic, and mutually beneficial economic relationship. We have a very strong political relationship, very, very functional diplomatic relationship with your country and the leaders of your country. And the two ministers who spoke now also have a very special relationship because they were both mayors. You know, when mayors finish their jobs, they always look for other areas where they can work. And now they are both in trade, industry, and tourism. So we have a special relationship, and Spain is valued as a partner in South Africa. Our relationship is built on what I would call shared values and a common belief in inclusive growth, industrial development, investment, and sustainable development. That is the cement that binds the relationship between our two countries. Today, we meet not only to celebrate our partnership, our past relations, but to shape a new chapter of our relationship. And our relationship has always been underpinned by what I would call by trade, and trade has always been present in the way that we have related with each other, and it's been layered by history, not always direct or dominant, but deeply tied to the old maritime roots, which still exists. Empire as well. There were times when there was empire, and it is also underpinned by the various products that we trade with between us: minerals, agriculture, and now, in this day and age, modern investment flows. In 2025, trade between South Africa and Spain reached approximately 2.8 billion euros. South Africa's exports to Spain reached 1.3 billion euros, a 10% increase over the previous year. Now, this makes Spain our fastest growing major trading partner within the European Union. Our countries do not compete. However, I must say that I was pained when I heard about a dispute between our producers of citrus in the world. And a dispute arose between us where we seemed to be competing to the death. Now I'm going to be talking to President Sanchez later tomorrow, and I will say that the dispute that's been declared in the EU should be settled, and should be settled between South Africa and Spain. We cannot be seen as such wonderful partners to be fighting to the death over what we can cooperate in. So I want South Africa and Spain to cooperate and to compete in a most wonderful and friendly manner. So that is the message that I'll be taking to him. Now, I hope you do support me in this. Your silence is not very... In many ways, we complement each other. We demonstrate how strategic partnerships can strengthen global value chains. Now, we are fortunate in South Africa. We have over 150 Spanish companies that are currently invested and operate on South African soil. Yesterday, having met a number of your companies, I'm sorry I didn't meet all of you. Time and space did not allow that. What I was able to glean from what they were all saying is that they would want to invest even more money, bring more resources to South Africa, meaning that South Africa is a really outstanding investment destination. And through this, your companies that have invested in South Africa have been able to create jobs which we sorely need, of more than 20,000 people across various sectors, from renewable energy to infrastructure to financial services to technology, as well as tourism. Added to this is Spain's commitment of over 2.1 billion euros to South Africa's just energy transition. This is directed at green hydrogen, electric vehicles, renewable energy, and our grid infrastructure. Now, the grid infrastructure is an important project which was spoken about earlier. We have to build 14,000 kilometers of transmission lines, and Spain can participate very, very strongly in this major project that is going to be launched in South Africa. It's going to require quite a lot of capital, which we don't really have, but we want to rely on the technological prowess of various companies, friendly companies. We also want to rely on the investment that can flow into South Africa, because we're going to need 450 billion rand of investment to expand our grid by 14,000 kilometers. This is a statement of confidence, not merely in our economy, but in our future. Even though our trade relationship is strong, it remains structurally imbalanced at the moment. It is concentrated in a narrow range of products, and we need to expand those. Motor vehicles for transport of goods account for nearly half of South Africa's exports to Spain. Such concentration creates a great deal of vulnerability. If we are to strengthen this relationship, and if we are to make it sustainable, we must focus on diversifying the areas in which we trade with each other. South Africa holds the world's largest reserves of platinum group metals. Now, these critical metals sit at the heart of hydrogen fuel cell technology, clean energy systems, and the future of electric mobility. At the same time, Spain is rapidly positioning itself as one of Europe's leading players in hydrogen economy. This creates a great opportunity for an alignment of our strengths. Relying on the strengths that we both have, we could utilize this as a great channel of trading better with each other. South Africa brings the resources. Spain brings the technological capability. It also brings investment and market access. South Africa brings talented workers who are hard workers and who are committed. Together, this creates the foundation for a new kind of partnership, a collaboration across the value chains of the future, value chains that we must rely on, and value chains that we must also continue improving. Spain has demonstrated global leadership in economic sectors where South Africa has its most urgent and growing needs. Now, in renewable energy, Spain ranks amongst the top 5 countries in the world. In water management and desalination, it is the leading country in Europe using technologies that South Africa needs as it confronts growing water stress. As many of you know, we are a water-stressed country, possibly one of the few water-stressed countries in the world. In infrastructure, hydrogen, and tourism, Spain sets standards that the world just follows. I was amazed to hear about the tourists that you attract to your country on an annual basis. And you can share those tourists. You can share those tourists and divert quite a number of them to South Africa. South Africa, in turn, offers a sophisticated industrial base. It offers abundant natural resources and world-class financial institutions. Your financial institutions and your banks and investment firms are world-class, but so are ours, and they are the top class on the African continent. We offer a strategic position as the gateway into the continent, as you heard Minister Tau say, a market of 1.4 billion people, with a combined GDP exceeding $3.4 trillion. South Africa and Spain are not just 2 countries trading goods. We are 2 economies with the potential to build value chains that serve markets far and beyond our borders. We see strong opportunities to grow South African exports to Spain and to the broader European market in several areas. And these are areas where we can work together. These include agro-processing and high-value agricultural products. Your country is a leading country in agro-processing and in agriculture. They include specialty, chemicals, sustainable fuels, pharmaceuticals, and health technologies. Now, as we look to the future, we see expanding opportunities in the manifold for the export of beneficiation of critical minerals, the green industrial materials, and renewable energy inputs, and the electric vehicles and components. What we seek is a deeper industrial cooperation between our 2 countries. What we would like is expanded market access and integration into value chains that connect our productive capacity to European consumers and to the industrial markets. To take one example, South Africa's automotive industry is the largest on the African continent and well developed over many years. Now, as the world transitions to electric vehicles, the question is not whether South Africa will be part of that value chain, but whether we will be part of the raw material supplier or a manufacturing partner. We want to be the manufacturers. We also want to be the assemblers. And we look to Spanish companies to travel that road with us as partners. Spanish companies have already proven what investment in South Africa can achieve, and we applaud you for that. and we were able to express our deep gratitude to the various companies that we met yesterday, that their resilience and commitment to South Africa and to investing in South Africa is second to none. Even where at times they are facing challenges, for instance, some of them are facing challenges of the cost of energy, which we are addressing. They have remained committed, even as some of them have been making losses. But they know that the curve will turn as they continue to operate and make profits. Construction is underway on wind farms in a number of areas in our country where some of your companies are actually very, very invested, and we're grateful for that. And the investment that they are making is quite phenomenal. And in a number of other areas in the Northern Cape, there are quite a number of solar plants that are going to be commissioned. And projects like these are the cornerstone of industrial partnership between our two countries. I mean, one of the companies we met yesterday was a first-time mover as we opened up the renewable energy sector in our country. And that has attracted more and more of Spanish companies to come to South Africa, making South Africa the poster country on the African continent for renewable energy. And we say thanks to Spain for having taken the lead where others have followed, and that they've continued to stay with us and to invest more and more money. South Africa offers policy certainty and strong institutions. Yes, there may well have been moments where policy certainty wobbled a little bit, but we can confirm now that there is policy certainty, and we continue to improve the policies that we are putting out there for the private sector to participate with greater confidence. We offer a diversified industrial economy, a sophisticated banking system, as you heard, and a robust legal framework, and deep experience in managing complex industrial projects. We are implementing reforms as we speak now to improve our logistics sector, to strengthen our electricity system, and to create a more competitive business environment. And on our electricity system, we have taken steps to assist some of those companies that would have seen either the closure of either their smelters and others, and we are now going to start focusing on the others who are also facing hardships. So we are proactive, and we are also responsive. And we actually welcome the opportunity that companies have to come to us to have discussions with us, rather than just picking up and leaving as they face challenges. We're making it easier for companies to invest in our country, easier to trade, and easier to grow. We are an emerging market, and as an emerging market, we do have to improve on a number of areas. But we welcome those companies that want to walk the journey with us. And as you walk the journey with us, as we improve and as we learn from others are doing, we improve better and we grow together. As we expand trade, we must ensure that the rules governing global commerce are fair and they support development. South Africa supports climate action. We are committed to the just transition towards a low-carbon economy. But new regulatory frameworks, including the EU Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, must not become instruments that inadvertently punish emerging economies for emissions they did not historically cause. Now, we often think that some of the rules and regulations that are being put in place that negatively affect even our countries that did not have any responsibility in the damage that has been caused to the climate. And we say that needs to be taken into account. And we are not opposed to the principle of carbon accountability. What we ask is that climate measures be accompanied by the necessary climate finance, the technology transfer, and the transitional arrangements that need to be put in place, that the Paris Agreement and the successive COP commitments have promised. Now we look to Spain to champion a just and equitable approach within the EU institutions. This business forum for us is about practical outcomes. Alongside the engagements we are having with the Spanish business, we present a high-impact pipeline of some 85 investment projects that are valued at 62 billion euros. Through our investment promotion agency, which we call Invest SA, these opportunities have been developed into well-structured investment-ready projects designed for partnership and also for phased implementation. These projects span energy transition, infrastructure, green industrialization, critical minerals, beneficiation of minerals, agro-industrial value chains, sustainable fuels, digital connectivity, as well as pharmaceutical manufacturing. They are underpinned by clear policy frameworks, targeted investment incentives, and dedicated one-stop facilitation mechanisms to ease implementation. And this demonstrates our seriousness when it comes to the economic relations that we want to foster between our two countries. We invite Spanish capital, technology, and industrial expertise to partner with us in advancing these projects and building integrated value chains between the two economies. Our message to every Spanish company, therefore, in this room is that South Africa is indeed open for business. We are the largest economy on the African continent, the most industrialized country in Africa, and we are truly the gateway into the African continent. And we don't say this in a boasting manner. We say this because we are a key enabler for companies that want to surge into the African continent, and we do so under the aegis of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, where we also cooperate with our fellow sister African countries on a mutually beneficial manner, and where we also advance the interests of our own continent. So we invite you to partner with us, not only as investors, but as long-term industrial partners. And we are eternally grateful that a number of your companies have been in South Africa for a very long time. Now, you are co-builders with us, and we want you to be co-builders with us in various industries that will serve the growth of our country and advance the interests of our people. We do have an opportunity to connect European technological strength with African growth. We have an opportunity to build supply chains that are resilient, sustainable, as well as inclusive. But more importantly, we have an opportunity to create prosperity, a prosperity that is genuinely shared in Madrid as it is in Johannesburg, in Seville as it is in Durban, in the farming towns of Andalusia, and in the mining communities of Limpopo. I suggest that we leave this forum with a shared commitment to turn dialogue that you're going to have today into meaningful action. We should harness, in the end, our respective strengths and capabilities to build a partnership of the future. What we do appreciate in dealing with Spanish companies and the Spanish government is that we deal with each other with deep respect. We deal with each other with deep consideration for what we both have. Not disrespectful, not trying to drive others to lose while others win. You are a bigger economy than ours, and we respect that, and we want a mutually beneficial relationship. So I thank you. Now, if it was on a Saturday, you would have listened to my speech in Spanish. So, but I thank you that you were able to listen to it today in English. I thank you very much.